Hi, this is Miss Lavodi, and in this video I'll be going over some tips for photographing and editing and resizing your work for the AP digital submission website. We want to consider photographing using an iPhone or similar device that you have access to, and we want to photograph in natural light whenever possible. Photographing many artworks on the same day in consistent lighting. Pay attention to the white in your artwork. Crop your work. Try to limit how blurry it appears by keeping your camera still, and don't over-edit your work. Depict your drawings as true to the real drawing or painting and medium as possible. Be aware that some drawings or paintings have a sheen to them or a glare to them depending on the surface, and take your artwork outside in a clean area for natural lighting. Try to make sure it's not windy, and either photograph your work in full sun or full shade, but not half in or half out of it. So this is a pencil drawing that has a lot of white negative space, and you don't want to take it and put it half in a shadow and half in the sunlight like this, where your drawing is not going to be viewed well. So either photograph it completely in the shade or photograph it completely in the sun. But be careful of how you hold it and where you place it and how the sun is hitting it, because you can see that there was some glare there on how the graphite gets a little reflective. So you don't want to have your hand in the drawing either when you're working on photographing it. This is the same drawing now indoors, and you can see how the indoor lighting will really affect how your iPhone reads the white of the background. Just with the overhead lights of the classroom, you still will see a shadow on your artwork depending on where your position is to the artwork. Think about moving away from the work instead of hovering over it too closely, since you can't really control a room's direction of the interior overhead lighting. If you have a good spot indoors with natural light coming through windows, position your work on a table surface and photograph it overhead, and that's okay. You can also try rolling tape behind your work and photographing it on a wall. The natural light will also affect the colors of your work. Notice in the shadow, colors are going to look a little bit cooler, whereas in direct sunlight, colors are going to be a little bit warmer. This is a colored pencil with full burnishing and natural lighting. You can see the texture of the paper come through a little bit. The colors look pretty vibrant. Putting it half in light, half in shadow, again, is not a good idea. You also don't want to take photographs from weird angles. If it's in a mat, you don't want the frame of the mat to cast a shadow on the artwork either. So again, you want to be overhead, keep the artwork either in full shade or full sunlight. Notice this looks a little bit more cool colored now that it's completely in the shadow versus when it was in sunlight. I like to do all of my cropping and editing directly on my iPhone device to get a head start on the editing process. So first, I'm making sure I have everything that I need to edit in an album so it's easy to get to and organize. So if I'm going to start with this image, I'm first going into the edit feature, and I'm using the crop tool to crop away my floor background. From here, I'm going to go into the little dial on the left-hand bottom menu, and I'm going to adjust some of the settings. So first I look for warmth. This is to help me white balance and remove away any lighting that looks too warm or yellow or orangey. And since this is a pencil drawing, I can desaturate it a little bit so it looks more like the natural pencil. I'm also brightening this just a little bit to accent some of the highlights, but that is about all of the adjustments that I made. This is an example of over editing, which you don't want to do to a drawing, especially for the AP drawing exam. Upping all your highlights, upping the contrast too much, upping the saturation or the details or sharpness of a drawing is not going to help it. It's going to make it look less like the natural original drawing that you created. So I can't stress this enough, the AP drawing exam is scoring your drawing abilities and your process here. So over editing or over contrasting or using filters on your work to enhance a drawing is manipulating it too far and not showing the College Board the original intention of your artwork in its original condition. I'm a firm believer that if you are planning on listing a medium, for example, graphite, as your artwork's medium that you created it with, then your photograph really needs to document your ability to use graphite. So over editing it is going to bring it into a different type of medium. To edit this one, first use the crop tool to bring in the image. I took away a little bit of that shadow that the mat was creating, and I made sure the top edge was clean as well. And that is all I needed to do because the natural light looked great. To edit this one, I have to crop out the background, but I also have to crop out that curl that's happening in the corner there. So I'm losing a little bit of that thumb, and that might not be an ideal situation. So I'm going to try cropping both of the sides out here, but it looks like my paper isn't super straight. So there's an option where you can angle or skew your image and your paper. So you can use the straighten or tilt or skew icons in the crop tool to adjust your work. Since the back leg of that drawing needs to be cropped out anyway, I don't really mind that I'm cropping out the thumb so much, so I'm going to leave it. And I can go into the lighting effects here, and I can tweak a little bit of the color just to make sure that it is matching the original image enough and it looks bright enough. So I'm upping the warmth for this one a little bit, and I'm lowering the brightness a little bit because the natural light might have made it too bright. So the AP digital submission site wants artwork submitted under 3 megabytes per image at a 72 resolution and a 7.36 by 10.83 inches maximum dimension. So what you're going to do is open Photoshop for iPad and log in with our school Gmail account and create a new document here. You're going to set up the page according to the AP requested orientation. So 72 resolution and those max file sizes of the 7 by 10 inches roughly. First tap Create New, and then you're going to type in the dimensions that the College Board requests, which is a 10.83, 7.38 in inches, and a 72 resolution. Then from here, you're going to tap the picture icon on the left menu bar and select the photo you want to bring in. It may not match the size exactly, so you can crop it using the crop tool on the left menu bar to remove away the white space around your picture. If depending on the image, you can also just scale it up. Then I'm tapping the document properties where it says image size. This is after clicking the little gear icon in the upper right hand corner. It'll say document properties and it'll tell you the image size. So you just want to make sure that it says under 3 megabytes, and then you can export this as a JPEG. If you want to slide the file size over to highest quality, you can, and this will export your newly saved image that is resized to your camera roll. So you'll see the option to save image. This saves it directly to your iPad photo roll, and then it will show you that you have successfully exported your image. It'll say export complete. So this time we have to bring in an image that is a portrait orientation. So Photoshop already has the size requirements listed from the last time I imported an image, so I can change the name of this file, which is important. You could image number them so they stay in order for you, but I just selected orientation in portrait mode, so now the canvas is vertical instead of horizontal, and I'm picking my photo from my camera roll. I'm going to bring in this image here. I'm going to crop away the white space by selecting again the crop tool on the left hand menu bar. I'm dragging the image so the white is removed, dragging the image up from the bottom, and I'm tapping the gear icon in the upper right hand corner, document properties, image size. I'm checking to make sure that image size now is less than 3 megabytes. When I pinch this in small, it looks clear, and when I scale it up, it still looks okay. So this is a perfectly acceptable image to export and submit to College Board now. So I'm going to hit Save Image, and my export is complete. I'm repeating the same for my final image here. The width and height are staying the same in that portrait orientation. Forgot to change the name on this one, but I'm going to bring in the skeleton picture. For this one, I have some extra room, so I can drag a corner out and I can scale my image up to meet the size of the canvas background. And then when I have it the way I like it, I can just exit out of that. Again, upper right hand corner, click the gear icon, check and make sure your image size is at less than 3 megabytes. Mine is at 1.18 or something, and then you can export your image to your device. Once you have your photos resized and renamed on your device, you can upload them to the AP submission site.